We're doing an Instagram live tonight with Calder Kamin for her current exhibition in the project space, A World Without Waste. So, like usual, I'm just going to give a quick tour. I see Calder's already here. Just sent her. Hi, everybody. Thank you for. Hey, Calder.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
Good. Having a great day.
I'm excited to talk to you about the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing my work.
Yeah. So just to give everybody a quick introduction, my name is Kevin Ivester. I own Ivester Contemporary, and Calder has a show up on view right now called A World Without Waste. Calder, do you want to just talk about the work real quick?
I'm sure you giving the tour. I'm so excited to share this work, and thank you everyone who's joining and sharing love. This work has been I've been doing it over the last 2 years. It's a lot of work. I'm really excited about the direction that I'm going in. Just keep finding new materials, refining my process, making the worlds more integrated, bringing in more fantasy. I had my 2 shows. It's kind of the culmination of like what I experienced with my Women in Their Work show, Plastic Planet, and then I built a forest for a children's museum in San Antonio. And it's just been this evolution of the animals getting more fantastical and detailed and the worlds being more involved. So there's lots to look at in the space.
Yeah. So you've got some wall hangings, and you've got the big piece behind me. What was your inspiration for this big piece? Did you have anything in particular in mind when you were making it?
Well, I've been interested in working with kids. They're part of my audience. I mean, my work is for all ages, but I have a particular investment in speaking to youth. We've left a massive mess for the next generation, and presenting my work in spaces outside the gallery, particularly children's museums. I can show these kids and their families that there is potential in these materials, and there's potential in themselves and being a creative human to solve these massive problems. So I had a show at the Museum in San Antonio in 2018, and I built a forest. And, you know, like most artists, we work so hard to build the thing, and then the thing is done, and we're like, I could do that better. So that's what this work is that, adding different levels, more detail, and that these creatures, this is a world that's like a post-human world. Something has happened, but no matter what devastation that could come about on this earthly planet, nature will return. Nature is so powerful here on this earth. And so this is this fantastical, like post-apocalyptic, but healthy, revived, hybrid, weird world. It's called Super Artificial, the forest itself. And I sent a proposal to the Moxie, which is the Wolf Museum of Exploration and Innovation in Santa Barbara, for their Artist in Residence program. And I was selected for 2020, and we were going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And of course, we all know what happened in 2020. And the show was canceled, and the program was canceled, and I had this thing. And Kevin approached me for a show, and I went, well, I have this thing, and I want to see it through. And I'm so glad that we did, because I got to share it with everybody in Austin. And now the Moxie has reinstated their program, and I'll be able to show it on the West Coast in April 2022.
I love it. I got so lucky to be able to show it. Thank you. It's amazing. I hear, but like just awe when people see it in person. It just goes on and on.
That's what's so great about getting back into a gallery space. This is my first show in so long, and Instagram has been a brilliant way to connect with other artists and share my work. but it actually being in the space and people's reactions. It was so funny, Kevin. So many people were like, "This is insane.
Yeah.
You're insane." And I'm like, "Yeah, artists are crazy. I get it. Yeah."
I think that reaction is more just the amount of work that is so apparent in your sculptures. It just, I think people are in awe and inspired probably by you, because you've really put your mind to something and seen it through to this scale. It's just, I think people have a hard time wrapping their heads around how much time you put into this, how much passion you put into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know,
Thank
so non-eloquently said but accurate. It's insane. It's amazing what you've done. um, so before we get too much further, for those folks who don't know and can't recognize from this little video, what is the material?
Trash.
Trash. And where do you get your trash?
I have so many sources, lots of trash pickers out there. Of course, shout out to Austin Creative Reuse. I serve on the board there. They're our creative reuse center. They collect any materials that you think would be of use to a crafter, artist, or educator. And they source a lot of my favorite like bits, like the koozies and the game pieces and the drink stirrers, all the really weird, unique stuff. The Easter egg shells, they help me out with that. I have friends all over the US that mail me their plastic bags. I also collect my own waste. There's some spray paint caps that make up the tulips that are in the installation. Those I would collect at the Hope Gallery, all the spray paint mural galleries across Austin. I just pick up caps that people leave behind. The hoses, most of them were from bulk collection. And then I just have a network. Gabriel Dahl, an artist, Texas artist, he came by my studio today, and we were talking about how artists were always so good about sharing our good trash or sharing our materials, and just I love that connectivity. So if I ever need a particular item, I have used Instagram or just reached out to my friends and said, "Hey, I need this. Can you please send me materials?" Marker caps, those are a lot of marker caps. I'm connected to with other creative reuse centers too across the US. And I actually got boxes of markers recently from Kansas City and Tennessee.
Well, it's the number of materials just goes on and on. How long have you been working with these materials, and sort of what started you off on that path?
I've been working with rubbish now probably about 2012, 2013 was the switch. I have a ceramics degree, art history degree from the Kansas City Art Institute, and I was living in Kansas City until about 2014 when I returned home to Austin. Uh, I took up birding after undergrad. I was sculpting animals in clay. I've always made animals out of polymer clay or ceramics. And when I took up birding, I was trying to get to know the critters in my neighborhood, their behaviors, their calls, all of that. And the particular behavior that was of most fascination to me was to see the mama birds use trash in my neighborhood to build their nests. And I just thought we have a problem as human beings. Waste does not exist in nature. In nature, there is no waste, and that's why I reuse. Waste is a cultural problem, particularly in the West and post World War II. We've made a big problem for ourselves. So seeing those birds reuse waste, I started to incorporate it. I actually made birds' nests using trash with the birds in my neighborhood. I used birth control packets to talk about how synthetic estrogen impacts nature. And then I started using the plastic bags around 2014 to make the fur and flesh of my creatures. When I was a ceramic artist too, I just loved getting into the details. I love making the little tiny things on top of the tiny things and adding more things. Um,
That There's so much detail in this work too. So you mentioned the plastic bags. Can you just describe that process real quick? And I'll zoom in on one of these ropes.
Yes, most of these, the plastic bags in this show, there's two ways that I've used them. I'll either strip and twist the bags until they create a fur or grass texture.
Like here.
Yeah, like there. And then all of the rest of the plastic bags are crocheted.
Wow. And on top of the Plarn techniques that you just explained, you've got other techniques in here too. What is the process like of, your development? How do you decide how, okay, now you're going to use these straws, now you're going to use these eggs. What is that process like? Is it
It's
play?
constantly playing around. I'm using only wire clippers shears that I can use with my hands, hot glue sticks, hot glue gun, crochet needle, and my hands. I'm seeking out malleable plastic, really, really soft stuff,
Mm-hmm.
really colorful stuff. But I'm just able to do it with my hands, and it's just a lot of play, and that's why I think it's so fun and accessible to everyone, is because it's possible for them to do something like it too.
Yeah, there's time.
Well,
Um,
busy
it-
hands and lots of practice. So
yeah, I saw you working when you were installing this too. You're so fast.
yes.
So the other thing that I have really enjoyed watching is people's reaction beyond the wow, this is so much work and how amazingly detailed, but people's reaction to the materials and to the animals. Have you ever had any like particularly strong or rewarding reactions that you've seen from your work? Any favorites?
Oh well, yeah. Like I was telling you. I mean, the I was given license to go wild on how fantastical the creatures could be and how colorful they could be. Because again, working with the kids and listening to them and what they have to say and their reactions. And I had a workshop, and a little girl said, "Oh, if you're using these fake materials and fake nature and taxidermy, your animals can be whatever color you want."
Yeah.
I went, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. They can be whatever I want them to be." And then, I mean, just so much joy brought into my studio, and just having fun and play and colors. Like when I was a ceramic artist, I had a lot of issues with color because um, they're so earthy. Is usually what you get is your palette, and you have to have this explosive color. And too, like this piece here, ultraviolet vixen, learning more about color in nature and the signals it provides. So like purple is the loudest color in nature. To pollinators, it actually vibrates. It's like they're tripping when they see anything that hits either the yellow, purple, ultraviolet spectrum. So this piece was little ode to the pollinators.
Um, and I do like to keep these conversations kind of short because of Instagram, but is there any um, sort of climate change initiative suggestions that you have for folks listening that you think would be particularly helpful for people?
Well, just see the potential in us to do creative things with all of these materials. And there's little things all the time that you can do um, to reduce, your waste. I have so many friends now that collect their trash from me. Like I mentioned, we have Austin Creative Reuse. If you have any materials that could be of use to another artist, um, share those. I've been really, the next thing that I'm kind of getting into is just thinking more and more about also fashion and textile waste. It's just a bigger problem as petroleum now. So that's something that I'm going to start including in some of my workshops and in my art too, is crocheting those materials, but just being cognizant of when you're buying even, your fashion. Will this be sustainable? Will this last a long time, or could I turn it into something else and reuse it?
Nice.
But a lot of our climate initiatives, I mean, really the big way to make change is, through politics. Just make sure that we put pressure on there being some legislation when you can. That's for, and to corporations too. Bug them on social media and tell them how they can do better. They're listening to how we buy things. I mean, we're in a capitalist society, so that has a lot of hold over how we do better. Is using our buck sometimes wisely.
Nice. Well, Calder, I really appreciate your time tonight. And I love your work. I appreciate your work. It's amazing. I
Thank you.
really encourage those of you who haven't been able to view the gallery yet, to come down. The show's A World Without Waste. It's on view through August 7th, and Saturday night from 7 to 9 here at Canopy, we're going to be having a reception. We do encourage masks in the space, but Calder is going to be here talking about her work. And it really is this piece behind me, all the wall hangs that I showed. You've got to come in and look at them in person because, Instagram just doesn't quite get there. But Calder,
Everyone, thank you so much.
yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.